Okay, we're live. Hey guys, thanks for joining in. Hi everyone. Okay, so welcome. So we're going to wait a couple of minutes for our guest to join in, and also some more viewers to join in. So this is my live session, so I gotta be honest, I'm a bit nervous. You may not believe it, but I'm actually like, it's really nerve-wracking for me to be in front of a camera. But I have to get used to it, so here I am. All right. Before our host joins in, I'm just going to introduce myself. So, a little bit about me. I'm Yamika Damani. I'm a dog trainer and pet parenting and nutrition coach. So, I've been in the pet industry for over 10 years, and I studied dog training under the late John Rogerson of the Northern Center for Canine Behavior. Round about 8 years ago, I was in a similar position as many of you. I was in search for the best options for my rescue dog, Pixie, at the time. So, being a rescue dog, she came with a plethora of health and behavior issues. And that's when I realized that dog behavior and nutrition are so interrelated. And that's when, I decided to take things in my own hands. And I started my own pet food business called Clever Canine. And I've also recently earned my qualification as a pet nutritionist. So yeah, that's just a little bit about me. And now we're going to wait for our host to come in. Let's see if he sent a request. Hey everyone, thanks for joining in.
Oops. Hi.
Hi.
I'm so sorry. There's a power cut. I'm just waiting for the inverter to come back in.
No problem. So long as you have Wi-Fi, we're good.
I'm not even on Wi-Fi.
Okay, so you're on mobile network. Let's just hope it's not too bad. It's not Airtel.
No, but thankfully I'm in a good network area, so that's fine.
Okay, great.
As long as I'm visible.
You are visible. Yeah, I think everyone can see you. So I've already introduced myself to everyone, Mithun, and it's time to tell everyone about you. So a little bit about our guest today and a dear friend of mine, Mithun. He's a qualified canine nutritionist and founder of Krypto's Canine Nutrition. He started this in 2020 with the mission to help dogs live a chemical-free and holistic life. So he's helped more than 500 dogs across the world by formulating complete and balanced meal plans for them. And he's also worked with some pet food companies to formulate commercial dog food. So yeah, I hope I got all of that right, Mithun.
Yes, you did.
Awesome.
How are you doing?
I'm doing good, thanks. It's really great to have you here.
Thank you so
And
much for inviting me.
I'm really excited about this topic. Every time we meet, I'm always talking about supplements and how people are not realizing and misusing them. And I
That
really,
is
really wanted to address this topic
true.
so badly. And it's so great that I have you on board because you have so much knowledge when it comes to canine nutrition and supplements as well. So
Well,
yeah,
canine, like we are currently with the existing research, we are just at the tip of the iceberg. We have a lot more to explore. Like there's a
exactly.
lot.
And that goes for even like veterinary science as well, right? In
That's right.
general, like we have so much more to know. Like it's really, but yeah, I mean, so long as we're all in it in that journey together, figuring things out,
Exactly.
and
And
we're able
what
to
we are
help.
doing right now is a pretty so even though at times it gets really exhaustive, but it's a very rewarding experience.
It is. It is really rewarding. And yeah, I think we should get started now with the
Yes, let's get
topic.
started.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to start by asking the most straightforward question.
Okay.
What are supplements and why would a dog need them?
Okay. So, like, you want me to give you a very broad answer? You want me to give you a very short answer?
Let's
Because
start
I
with the
can go
short
on and on
answer.
and on.
I know you can go on and on. So let's start with the short answer.
Okay.
And then, let's dive in.
All right. Supplements are basically adding any nutrient, either a vitamin or a mineral or combination of both, to a diet to actually balance them. And whereas, like, if we, and also one more thing in that supplements we need to like remember is that when we are feeding supplements, we feed the highest quality what is available for us, and rather than going with the easiest available option, the most high quality supplement with a very good balanced diet will make a lot of difference.
Okay, great. So essentially, you're using it to balance a diet. That's
Exactly.
one of the most common reasons why people want to use it, right?
Yes, and also there are a few, like for example, there's a joint condition which a dog has, and during those times, yes, like a joint supplement which has glucosamine, chondroitin, and vitamin E, manganese, all these things will be added.
Right. So, supplements also have a function, especially with
Right.
pets with chronic health issues, or, some kind of health issue that keeps cropping up. So sometimes, itchy
That's right.
skin or like skin problems. So things like that, it would be really helpful, right?
That's right.
Okay, great.
That's like the very simple answer what we can provide about supplements. Like as we go deeper and deeper, we'll be able to explore more about nutrients and what supplements are actually supposed to be given and more.
Okay, great. So, what are some examples of supplements that a pet with chronic skin issues would be given?
The first thing, more than adding a supplement, I would look at giving a balanced diet, number one, because a balanced diet, like each time when I formulate a meal plan for any specific health condition, first I will just see like whether the diet is balanced. In case that is not balanced, then I just first balance the diet and then I put the dog on it for around 2 to 3 weeks, and that is going to change like only during 1% of the 100% cases. I go back and reformulate after that specific thing because a balanced diet will solve most of the issues. And
Exactly.
when we're talking about skin issues, zinc, vitamin E, selenium, and especially essential fatty acids, which a lot of people neglect,
Right.
will make
Exactly.
the difference.
Exactly. So I think that's sort of the key point here from what you're saying is that even before trying to give supplements to your dog,
Yeah,
and sometimes they're spending so much money on expensive supplements, not
that's
knowing
right.
whether it's actually helping your dog or not. The
Mm-hmm.
first step is to provide them a complete and balanced diet. Now, at home, when people prepare home cooked food, is that a complete and balanced diet?
Well, it depends on what kind of home cooked food dish they're making. If they have a nutritionist's complete and balanced meal plan, they will be adding supplements. Like there is, and even though there will be no major supplements, like there will be the most necessary ones at least. That is going to be at least iodine, or and then it's going to be vitamin E because all these things cannot be fulfilled with whole foods.
Exactly.
Iodine ke liye, what will you add? You're gonna add iodized salt. No other, there's no other option. And we cannot give salt like to dogs directly because it's additional sodium and chloride.
Exactly, exactly. So I guess the takeaway here would be if you're feeding a home cooked diet, then it would be really beneficial to invest in, taking advice from a certified pet nutritionist, because they would be formulating the diet for you.
And
Um,
then we go back again and again to
Yes,
keep checking on
exactly.
the
So
dog.
it's an ongoing thing, right? Like, so obviously, like throughout the pet's life, they're going to have to keep changing the diet.
That's
And it's really helpful to have a pet nutritionist on board to, take you through that, guide you through that.
yeah.
So yeah, that's great. That's awesome. All right. So now my next question is, what are some of the misconceptions associated with supplements? Some common
Okay.
misconceptions that
Well,
pet parents face.
Well, a few common misconceptions could be like um, feed anything what you want, but just add in the supplement and it's going to boost your dog's immunity. That is number one. Like people have been so obsessed with immunity, they're not looking at what are the like for example, I will take the most basic immunity booster what people are adding to all pet foods right now, which is ashwagandha. Let's take the basic example because a lot of people know about that.
Yeah.
A lot of humans also take it because it's an adaptogen and it helps to relieve their stress, and then it helps people to sleep better because of all the nutrients and all. What happens in ashwagandha is that it is an adaptogen. Like it alters the dog's hormones also, along with the other benefits they offer. So unless the dog absolutely needs it, don't give that supplement.
Yeah.
That would be the most common misconception. And then the other thing is that even you feed whatever you want, but just add in a supplement, and that's going to make up a balanced diet. I can be very honest. I can tell that I can meet, like, see, guidelines, what we look at, it's like they are just guidelines. We need to look at it. We need to meet the nutrient requirements with most nutrient dense food ingredients, and it should be most available for the dog. I can meet NRC guidelines with supplement and curd rice also. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't have your dog on
Exactly.
supplements to thrive, right?
Exactly. Because,
Um,
see, one thing is that we need to give them at least a minimum amount of protein. Like, that is the most, like, there's so many Indian, like, all the dogs who live in, so many dogs who live in Indian households, they have protein deficiency because they're not getting, like, even the minimum amount of protein they would get. And especially in the vegetarian households, it's more of like only dal, soya, or paneer. Like, that cannot be fed for a long term. It's not sustain, more than sustainability, it is not good for the dog.
yes, exactly. So, can you just, for the viewers, explain what is the what is the difference between a meat-based protein, which is like has a meat origin, versus a
Okay, like
vegetarian
the
protein?
vegetarian ones.
Yes.
Okay, so in that we can break it down pretty simply, very in a very easy words. The first thing in the meat protein, it has a lot of amino acids. Like it meets all the amino acid requirements. It meets a good amount of calories, proteins, fats, and everything. And amino acids are absolutely required. Like protein is the building blocks of the organism, any organism for that matter. Even for us humans, like protein consumption is absolute necessity. Like for example, there are vegans. At times they get that protein deficiency, all those things. They take B12 injections because they're not getting enough amount of nutrients
Yeah.
in their diet. And coming back to dogs, like when we are talking about like if we are feeding a vegetarian-based diet, dal, paneer, soya, or any of these vegetarian sources of protein will not meet the good amount of amino acid requirements for the dog. That is one of the prime reasons that why we say no to a vegetarian protein source.
Right. Okay.
That is like
So,
the most basic reason.
So then would you say the key takeaway here is that, if you are going to be choosing to feed a vegetarian diet to your pet, it's going to be deficient in some of the most basic nutrients that your dog
Exactly.
needs to survive. And
Yes.
also if you think that you can add supplements to the diet, to a vegetarian diet, it's not going to solve that problem.
Exactly. And even for a vegetarian diet, even though we say that we feed a vegetarian diet like with paneer, soya, and stuff, even though we add an amino acid supplement, that is not going to be like completely absorbed by the dog's body.
Okay, so now that we're talking about the dog's body absorbing nutrients, let's talk about bioavailability of nutrients in the dog's diet. Can you explain
Okay,
that?
absolutely. So in bioavailability, just to break it down in very simple words, bioavailability is nothing but what we eat should be absorbed by our body. In simple words, bioavailability means that. For example, when we are talking about a meat-based diet, that is more bioavailable to a dog's body because the dog's body, like the anatomy, is in such a way that they absorb the nutrients from meat way better than they absorb from vegetarian sources of protein.
Right.
Okay, and when we are talking about bioavailability, we also I can also, because now that we are discussing about the supplements, that's the main topic. We can actually pull in that, because over here, in bioavailability of supplements, like when I suggest the supplements, I suggest like obviously zinc, vitamin E, and iodine, etc. In that, I prefer zinc picolinate over all the other forms of zinc, because that is like well researched and it is known to be most bioavailable to the dog's body. And even when we are talking about vitamin E, there is different forms of vitamin E. There is D-alpha tocopherol, there is DL-alpha tocopherol, tocopherol, and all those things. In this, D-alpha tocopherol is a form of vitamin E which gets most absorbed by the dog's body. So
Okay.
even when we add in a vitamin E supplement, we prefer to add in that specific form of it.
Okay. Great.
But that gets pretty expensive at times.
It
Not
is.
like that.
It
It
is.
comes in very small vitamin E drops, and it will definitely get it works. It comes around $1,000 for just 30 ml, like
Okay.
itna sa bottle.
Okay. Yeah, but I mean, that being said, being a pet parent and having a dog is, you have to be able to spend on the things that you really need to, right? Like we are
Yes,
in a position
because
sometimes
those
where
comes
it's
under
going to be,
absolute requirements.
it's an absolute requirement. Exactly. Um, all right. So, since we were talking about bioavailability, now let's switch to, um, you know, supplement toxicity and toxicity that happens where, your dog is given too much of supplements. And what are the risks there? And, how common is it really? Like, have you seen that it's like
Supplement
common?
toxicity is not very common, because unless you feed a good amount of good, like 10 to 15 capsules of this thing, not even 10, we can say around 5 to 6. Like until then, there is no point of toxicity which can actually occur. Like this toxicity of supplements happens at times. What happens is like the dog, the parent keeps the supplement somewhere like accessible to the dog reach, and the dog takes it, then eats that becomes as the toxicity. But when we
Okay.
are giving the supplements, like when a canine nutritionist recommends the supplement, we just take into the account of all the nutrients in the recipe, and also what is the amount of nutrients that supplement specifically is providing. That is, then we calculate what is the exact amount of supplement to be given. For example, I can give you an example very easily of vitamin A. Vitamin A, again, there are different forms. A dog's body like absorbs, like again, bioavailability comes here. There are different forms of vitamin A. In carrot, there is beta carotene, and in vitamin A in liver provides retinol. Like there are two different forms of vitamin A. And in this, retinol will cause hypervitaminosis, which means like excess amount of vitamin A will be absorbed. And when we are giving vitamin A through a supplement also, it is directly going to impact the liver
Yeah.
because of vitaminosis. So that can be considered as toxicity or over supplementation.
Okay. All right. Great. So I'm going to take a question from one of our audience members that just came in.
Okay.
So she says, I have a female German Shepherd and I feed her 500 grams of lamb meat mixed with rice as her main meal and 500 ml milk with 2 whole eggs. She doesn't always like kibbles. Am I feeding her right? She weighs 35 kgs.
Whoa. Okay. Well, 500 grams of lamb meat is okay, all right, but it cannot be considered as a complete and balanced diet because there are a few organs are missing and there's no vegetables which she has mentioned, and then milk cannot be fed to dogs because like so many dogs are lactose intolerant and it's not really good for them. And whole eggs are all right, not a problem. I wouldn't worry about that. But like there are a few more ingredients which are absolutely necessity in this, then we can consider it as a complete and balanced diet. But she's providing a good amount of 500 grams of lamb meat. In that, I'm not sure which cut she is providing because there are, like, for example, lamb loin, lamb shoulder, etc. are there. Over here, during that time, this can be considered as a good nutrient dense meal, which meets only around 50 to 60% of nutrient requirements, but not more than that. There is vitamin D missing, there is
Yeah.
iron, copper missing, There is zinc can be met because it's a complete red meat based diet. And then there's manganese missing. There is no essential fatty acids either through fish or other supplements. And B vitamins can be met, I guess, because of it's a pretty dense amount, 500 grams of meat. Yeah, but vitamin D is also missing again.
Yes, exactly. So, I mean, just to break it down for the audience, I think a lot of pet parents just look at your proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and fiber. They're not really looking at, your micronutrients like minerals and vitamins that you need.
Exactly. And what happens in dogs is, in humans, all are nutrient deficiencies. Like, for example, we'll not be able to get, like in dogs, they have a pretty short lifespan. They don't live for very long. They live for maximum around 11, 12 to 15 years. And at a good range, like definitely around 18 years approximately. Their nutrient deficiencies will definitely show up within, like for example, if a dog is a puppy, if a puppy is eating a kibble based diet, their nutrient deficiencies will show up by the time they are 2 years old, either in the form of skin infections being the very common ones. Whereas in humans, it will take for us for around 20 years to show the nutrient deficiencies.
Right.
That's why all the joint pain, all the back pain, all those things come up.
Yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, there are always these telltale signs that our pets are like showing us, and I think a lot of times pet parents are not able to, tie it in and understand that okay, maybe it's like a major deficiency in their diet, which
Exactly.
is causing the problem. So, I mean, I think so many people around the world they advocate for nutrition being used as medicine, as preventative medicine, as well as to help like therapeutic medicine for pets that are unwell. So I think that's something that people really need to think about a lot.
Exactly. That is definitely like in the need of the hour.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right. So now let's talk about how do you select a good supplement? So if you already like say you've already consulted with a pet nutritionist, and you also, I think pet parents should also not blindly follow a pet nutritionist as well, because I think
Exactly.
they should try to educate themselves a little bit on what they're giving their pets and do a little bit of background
Yes.
research. And then it's
That's
always
perfect.
good to challenge your, whether it's your veterinarian or your pet nutritionist or any healthcare provider. It's always good to challenge them
Absolutely.
and make sure that okay, you're giving your dog what's right, because at the end of the day you know your dog best. And so
Yes, that is something what I personally advocate also. Like whatever we study, whatever we suggest, everything. There is nobody who knows the dog better than the pet parent themselves,
yeah,
because the dog lives with them, and they will obviously observe each and every as tiniest thing also. And I would really encourage people to ask, like obviously when they go to the veterinarian or when they consult their pet nutritionist or anyone for that matter, please ask them questions like, what is the use of giving this thing? Like, please make me understand, then I will give it. Like, that
yeah,
is absolutely needed, because we should not be like randomly feeding each and everything just because someone recommended it. Like, you should know what is the reason for eating it. And there are so many people who don't even know that, like, even though they get a meal plan, they don't know that this is the exact amount of calories my dog is eating, which is the most basic thing.
yes,
Even any human nutritionist also will tell that. Even when they give two rotis, ek katori, sabzi, and all those things, they will give this much of calories are in these things. That is like the most basic thing which everyone needs to know about. Like, this is the exact nutrient, like at least the minimum. This is the amount of calories my dog needs.
exactly. I mean, nutrition is a science, and
Exactly.
as a pet parent, we should treat it that way. And it's very important. So I talk to a lot of pet parents as well, and they tell me, I ask them, so what are you feeding your pet? And they'll be like, in the morning he gets some rice, one piece of chicken, one bowl of veggies, and I'm like, well, do you Like, have you weighed it out? At least, like, tell me in grams.
99% of the people answer no.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's like a first step for people to take. And that being
Yes.
said, let's
Getting
get
a
back to
feature
the
weighing
topic.
scale would be really helpful.
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same goes for supplements. You need to measure the supplements and give it
Exactly.
correctly. So let's get back to talking about what are the criteria a pet parent needs to look for when they are selecting a supplement. Um, what are some of the important
Okay,
things they
so
need to look at,
when
say,
we
at the
are
label
selecting
or
the supplements, when we are selecting the supplements, the first thing we look at what kind of the supplement is. What is the need for that supplement? Is it really necessary for my dog? And then, in case if it is absolutely needed, then who has manufactured the supplement? Number one.
yeah.
The second thing, has the authenticity and lab tested been done? For example, you can obviously know that this is the amount of the supplement, this is the amount of that mineral in the supplement, and what is the remaining of that mineral. It says, for example, any supplement can say 80% omega 3. What is the remaining 20%?
Yeah.
Question number one. I would not go for those kinds of supplements. And the second thing is that whether the brand is providing all the information and the authenticity which is absolutely needed for that specific supplement. And the third thing is bioavailability of the supplement. Like for example, again, I can give the basic example of zinc or any other one. Which one do you want? Which vitamin you want? The example of, I'll give you that. Give me any mineral or vitamin name.
Um, let's pick a common one. What do you think is the most common one?
We can say let's take copper because zinc to bahut zyada hoga.
Okay. Okay, guys, sorry. I think we lost Mithun for a couple of seconds. Just hang on, please don't drop off the live. Just
Yep, I'm back. Yeah.
okay, we still have everyone here. Okay, so yeah, I think we lost you for a
Okay.
second.
So we can take copper for an example. Copper, in that there is different forms of copper. There is copper bisglycinate, which is the most absorbable form, and then there is copper oxide. Copper oxide is most used in kibbles because at times kibbles bioavailability is pretty less. That's one of the main reasons we don't opt for kibble over a fresh diet. And copper bisglycinate is more absorbable and bioavailable for the dog's body over any other forms of it.
Okay. So, what are some more things that we need to look for? Because like when I select supplements, and I do this for anything that I buy for my dogs, is I turn the package around and I read the ingredients. So, what are, apart from reading the ingredients to know, is it actually safe for your pet? What are some of the other things? Let's talk about, you know, FDA approvals.
Whoa,
Yeah.
amazing. That is going to be amazing. So FDA is a United States Food and Drug Administration governing body for all the supplements, food ingredients, etc. Hello.
Yes. I think your connection is a little slow. We're losing your bit, Mithun.
Am I back? Can you see me clearly?
There's a bit of a lag. There's a bit of a lag.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Suddenly it just drops and it gets back on. But anyway, so where were we? We were talking about the FDA approval. So when we are talking about the supplements, like the first thing is we'll definitely look into a good composition supplement, which is lab tested for nutrients, and then there is authenticity labels. And the one more big problem what we are facing in India right now when we're talking about for pets, we don't have any specific set standards like any other country
There's
because
no
anyone can
authority,
just
right? There is no authoritative body that
exactly, yes,
checks for like supplements and approves them, like the FDA in the US,
exactly,
for example.
exactly. And also one more thing is that when we are talking about authority body for approval of things, like it becomes like anyone can just create a few powders and just put it in the market. There's nothing being done behind it. Obviously, other than their own formulas, only their it's not lab tested. Like if there's any other ingredients also mixed in it, you'd never know, because how will you know? Because it's just powder which comes. You open the pack, you put it in the bowl, and done. You have no idea what's going on.
Yes, exactly. And I think another major thing is, is there any research or data that that company can provide you to say that this supplement is effective, it's considered safe for your pet to consume, and like some of those important things.
Okay. So regarding yes, during that yes, there are a few companies. For example, I have emailed a few companies like for hemp seed oil and like the few ones which before I recommend to people. Like I asked them, I'm not able to find this on your website. Please send this information. Then only because I'll need to use them. And I personally want to use a few things for my dog, and I'm not going to use something which comes from a vague resource. I am like, as you know, that I'm very geeky when it comes to nutrition and
Yeah.
selecting things, and I want the absolute best version of what I can procure. And
Mm-hmm.
over here, there are a few, for example, I can give you the example of fish oil in the entire world. There is one specific fish oil which is approved by each and every person. Like that company is Nordic Naturals Fish Oil. It's based in US. There it goes under mercury testing. It goes under the exact, like they know where they get from, where they pick up the fish from, where they send the fish for processing, how they extract the oil. Like every single thing has been very well documented and very well told to people, and it's completely free of mercury. There is like no point of mercury being extra in the fish, which can cause mercury toxicity and all the other things. Like those kinds of things are something what we need in India, and it's going to be amazing if anyone can actually come up with it. And
It
even in
really
the
is,
Indian
yeah.
fish oil supplements, like for example, there are NutriCoat, StarCoat, and all these things. If I share the nutrient analysis label of that, like the label which they have fixed on it, there is omega 3 and there is omega 6. And there is zinc. There is no which, like in omega 3, there are different forms. There is EPA and then there is DHA, which are absolutely necessary for the dogs. Like those things are not mentioned. And omega 6 may be bahut zyada hai. And then I see the supplement, I'm like, okay, fine. Yeah, you keep it in your shelf, I will get back to you.
Exactly, and that's another thing that I just want to bring to the notice of all the pet parents here is that a lot of times supplements will be bottled and sold for consumption by pets, and usually that is a low quality version of the human grade supplement, right? So, for instance, fish oil is one huge example. You go to your veterinary clinic and they're selling fish oil, which, labeled and sold for pets. Please read the labels and, think twice
Yes.
before buying that. It's preferable to purchase fish oil or any supplement which is human grade, so which is made for consumption by humans, because it has undergone a lot more testing and regulation, and it's going to
Exactly, yes.
definitely be more safe and effective for your pet. Same goes for even hemp and CBD oil. It's so common for CBD oil to be
Oh my God, don't get me
given in
started
like.
on that.
So let's quickly. So it's already 6:35, and I want to close this off, and let's talk about a couple of last things. Let's talk about CBD oil, and since
Okay.
that's also considered a supplement, let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, CBD oil, yes, it is considered as a supplement. Number one, and also one more thing is that it's derived from cannabis. That is number one. And over here in the CBD oil, what happens is it is absorbed by the like it has to be given only if there is a need. You cannot just go give. And also one more thing is that CBD oil, like the most recommendations I'm hearing right now, like my dog is anxious, my dog is barking. Give CBD oil. Just pour CBD oil like ml liter to liter together. There is no limit. But CBD oil is an anti-inflammatory supplement. It has to be given only when there is a need. Like people don't, for example, come and you are a qualified trainer, so I can actually tell this. Like when when a dog is having some behavioral or anxiety issues, for that matter, we can tell that like a dog is having anxious. Like before they even see what is causing, what is triggering the anxiety, they just put CBD oil that's just suppressing the symptoms till a level which there is an explosion of that. And then CBD oil has to be given only when there is an absolute need of it again. Like for example, there is like for an anti-inflammatory example, like a dog has arthritis. During that time, yes, why not? Like even because it helps with the mobility and everything. And also CBD interacts with other nutrients also, so it cannot be just given it. And Yamika, I would really appreciate if you, as a trainer, I would really appreciate you telling me, telling people that, like with anxiety, how to like taking care of it without giving all these things.
Right. So, there's a lot of supplements and drugs in the market which are prescribed for anxiety in dogs, and some which are also non-prescription, like CBD, for example, or melatonin, things like this, which which pet parents feel like they can just, get it and give it to their pet. And I do understand that many pet parents who give this to their pets are in a desperate situation. Their dog has, severe anxiety, behavior problems, which, they're not able to understand. And so you want a quick fix in that moment. And there's nothing wrong in giving these supplements to your dog, but it's not a long-term solution. It's not sustainable. It's not going to give your dog a good quality of life. It's not going to give you a good quality of life with your pet as well. The only solution to, trying to help your pet through their anxiety, through the episodes, through their stress, is addressing their anxiety, where it stems from, what their triggers are. Definitely, if you have a dog that is so anxious that you need to give it some kind of supplement or medication, then it's a cry for help. You need to work with a
Yes.
certified canine canine dog trainer, canine behaviorist,
Behaviorist.
who is going to use, positive reinforcement methods. Definitely, that's important. And it's not going to be easy. Okay, let me tell you this, that, with a dog with anxiety, because even my dog Tiana, and Dora, both of them, they do also, they get under stress very quickly. And so it's been a lot of management from my side to, try to understand what their triggers are, give them an environment where they feel safe. So definitely, and of course, it's like an ongoing process of training and, just providing that enriching life to your pet. So definitely, working with a canine behaviorist or dog trainer is going to give you better results, because you'll be understanding the cause of the anxiety and you're going to work from the root of the cause. So that's going to be better than just, giving it a supplement or a medication to just try to, like, it's like you're just trying to, kick the dirt under the mat. Like, it's not going to work.
Exactly.
Eventually
And I
you're
have
going to find
personally
out that
witnessed
it's
the
like,
way how
yeah.
you manage Tiana and Dora's like anxiety and reactivity when it's certain things, like when the construction was happening and everything. And yes,
Exactly,
absolutely.
exactly. So I have construction going on in my place, some renovation work at home, and this is the first time that something like this is happening in my place since I've had these dogs. And suddenly this new behavior, and they are showing signs of stress. So, what do I do? My solution is get them out of that situation, as far as possible. So, what I do is I
Yes.
bring them to office, I bring them to work with me. They spend the day with me at work, in an environment where they feel safe. So that is, again, it's just a form of
It's
management.
management. It makes a lot
It's
of difference.
management, and most of dog training and behavior modification is a lot about management. You can't just take a dog and try to train something into it, because animal behavior, dog behaviors is way too complex. So
Exactly.
yeah.
And the like right now we are in the tip of the iceberg, as I told. There's a lot of things which still goes on, and we are still researching, and there's a lot of things for us to learn also, even in
Yes.
nutrition too.
Exactly, exactly. So, I think I really hope that we've been able to address like at least some of it today.
Yeah,
And we have all our lovely viewers here, and really hope that they've picked up something which is going to help them in their pet parenting journey. So yeah, I mean, from my side, I think we've kind of touched upon everything
most
a
of
little bit, most of it.
yeah.
But if there's anything, any last few points you want to say before we close for today?
Okay, so in the last thing, the first thing is more than giving people advice on what to do and what not to do. The first thing I would definitely recommend is that one, you know your dog very well. So please be like absolutely aware of whatever they are eating and whatever the supplements they are getting. And the second thing is ask questions. That is a very valid thing which you have to do. As a pet parent, you need to absolutely be aware of what your dog is eating, what your dog is taking the supplements, and why is it needed for your dog. And even though when we recommend supplements, the first thing what questions like there are so many proactive pet parents in my consult, right? Like they ask me, what is the need and why should I give this supplement? And then I did say, okay, so you're feeding a white meat based recipe, and during this you need to add in this specific supplement, and then then you feed a balanced diet. Then they're like, ah, okay, then fine. Like there is no need to give any random things, and also these random powders on the market and random multivitamins. Don't go for that.
My biggest problem with supplements right now in India is that people are just packaging powders and selling it, calling it supplement, and claiming that it has benefits that's going to cure your dog of
Exactly.
certain diseases, like maybe joint diseases. No, I'm very like doubtful of that. If somebody has research to prove that to me, please, by all means, send it over. I want to have a look. But definitely, anything you put into your dog's body, you need to know what it is and why you're putting it in there. So
Exactly. And also one more thing is that like just because you're mixing so many beneficial nutrients, I mean beneficial nutrient dense ingredients together, you cannot make a good supplement because nutrients interact. And I'm making a few
exactly.
posts and reels on nutrient interactions, so people have to stay tuned for that.
Yes, exactly. I think maybe in our next session, we should actually try to get some of our viewers to send us examples of some of the supplements they're giving their dogs. And maybe let's,
Yeah,
break those down and like help them understand what are some of the
exactly. We
things
can
which
definitely
would
do
be
that.
red flags that they need to look for, and whether or not that supplement is even relevant to giving to their dog.
Yes. And also one more thing which I'd like to add over here. If anyone over here is feeding a kibble-based diet,
Yeah.
don't please don't add in any random multivitamin because
Yeah.
because what you're feeding kibble is complete and balanced. Adding multivitamins or even calcium supplements will definitely unbalance those things. So those things have to be definitely be added only under supervision of a veterinarian or a canine nutritionist who assesses your dog's nutrient requirements and tells like your dog requires this. Only then you give those supplements.
Yes.
Otherwise, absolutely no.
Yes, exactly. So, commercial dog food like kibble has already a new, your vitamin and mineral packs which are added
Yeah,
to it. So, if you're a pet parent here that feeds kibble, then, just know that there are, enough vitamins and minerals in there. So one is like you don't be wasting your time adding time and money adding supplements when your dog doesn't really need it,
yeah,
unless your veterinarian or canine nutritionist has told you that it's going to be beneficial for your dog. But yeah, I mean that's like another thing altogether. Like
yes, that's right.
awesome. So all right, I think we have. we're kind of running
I
out of
think we
time
covered
now.
most of the things.
Sorry?
But again, supplements, like we'll need to come back once more to brush upon all the few more like a pretty complicated topics also on supplements.
Yes, exactly. I mean, there's so much to talk about in pet nutrition as well as supplements.
Yes,
So, we will let's like really dive into this in the near future, and
absolutely.
I think this is all we can talk about for now. So,
That's right, yes.
awesome. All right. So I want to just thank everyone who's tuned in for the live session. Thank you so much for taking out the time on a Sunday evening. And, congratulations on doing that and, doing something for your pet that's going to help them. So, yeah, that's really great. And thanks so much for
Thank you
being
so much,
on the Mithun.
everyone.
It's always so great talking to you about canine nutrition because you know so much and
Thank you
it's
so
it's
much for
like
inviting me.
you're like an encyclopedia. So it's it's always just like I don't even need to Google anything. I just like call you and I ask you something and like you have the answer. So it's really awesome. It's really great to
I
have you
am
on board.
really glad to be really helpful, but I still there's a lot of things which I don't know. Like I'm still learning. And like we can never be like people who are in the medical field, like in any healthcare industry, no. Nobody can be absolutely sure of what we know because something or the other keeps coming back on.
Yeah,
Like there is something or the other which will come back and tell you don't know this, you need to start learning once more.
yeah. Exactly. So that's great. I mean, I think we should do this more often, and
We
that's the
will.
only way we're going to be able to be relevant for everyone.
Absolutely. We'll
Yeah.
definitely. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you so much, and we'll see you soon.
We'll see you soon. Bye
Okay,
bye. Take care.
bye. See you. Bye.
Bye.